the Gundam TCG or CCG is coming out this year, and we have already seen lots of how to play videos, including an official one where a dude, well, quote unquote kid, who's like in the picture 10, 12 years old, is voiced by a 30, 40-year-old British, Scottish, Cockney accent man.
I want to try a blue and white deck with Earth Federation forces from Mobile Suit Gundam and Mobile Suit Gundam seed cards. I can't believe we get to make decks with cards from different Gundam series.
Every time he speaks, it makes me cringe. Ugh. Since we got a lot of basics of how to play videos, I would like to get into the bit of the finer details of the game. Some important details like some keyword effects and other stuff like that. How's it going, everyone? Sanada Yuki here, level 1 One Piece judge and the occasional content creator. I say that because the last time I uploaded a video was like, who knows when? Anyways, as I said earlier, we're gonna get into some finer details based off what we have on the website, the comprehensive rules, and the cards we have revealed thus far. Now, I am human, I might make some mistakes understanding the comprehensive rules, but if I do, I apologize in advance. Anyways, let's begin. Now, if you notice on a card, on the top left corner, there's a level and a cost. Cost is self-explanatory and is described and talked about in the basic how to play, so we will skip that. Level, on the other hand, might be something we might want to remember a bit better. Level are the required level you have to be in order to play it. In other words, you have at least the same amount of resources in your resource area, including the EX resource. So, if you are a player 2, for example, you will start as level 2 on your first turn. Will it be an advantage? I mean, perhaps. Or, if you play Union Arena, for comparison, levels are similar to the required energy you have to play a card. As you all may know, you can link units with pilots. Pilots will give your units buff in their HP and AP. You can link any pilot to any unit. So you can example put Amurore, link it with say a Gelgoog. Now, there are some rules for pilots. Here we go. Only one pilot can be linked to a unit at a time. No transferring a pilot from a unit to another unit. So say you link Amurore to a Gelgoog, and you cannot transfer Amuro to say a gym. No. If a unit moves to another area, the pilot linked to it follows to where the unit goes. So for example, if the unit that is linked to a pilot is sent over to the trash, the pilot goes. Return to your hand, the pilot comes back to your hand. So that's the good example there. Next, pilots can be linked to unit tokens. That's actually nice, so tokens can be buffed as well. So let's see here, for example, of how pilots work. Let's say you link Strike Dagger with Char Asnabel. Char will give you a +1 to both AP and HP. Strike Dagger now has an attack effect as well, which will make it a 5/3 when he attacks. That's pretty deadly if you ask me. Now, in connection to pilots, you might notice that in some units, at the bottom left of the card, there might be a pilot name or a trait of some sort. For example here, in Strike Gundam, there is, on the bottom left, Kira Yamato. This means if it's linked with the pilot Kira Yamato, it becomes a link unit. Now, link units are fun for a couple of reasons. Now, as per rules, units played on your turn cannot attack or has summoning sickness. But if you link it and make it into a link unit on the same turn, it can attack as soon as it's played. Next, some pilots give extra effects if it's a link unit, like take Char Asnabel again, and Hizaku too. Char gives +1 to AP to any unit he is linked to, but the extra sauce here, if you continue reading, it says if it's a link unit, it also gains high maneuver, making it unblockable. Nasty, and I love it. Now to a simple rule that I believe was not mentioned in any of the how-to videos, at least in the official one, is how many units you can have on the field. The answer is simple, my friend. Unit field can only have 6 maximum. So once you have 6, that's your max in the field. If you want to play a 7th, you have to replace that with another one on the field. Just like One Piece or... actually One Piece, yeah. Now we will get into battling. Battling is pretty straightforward. You rest your unit you're declaring to attack with. You can attack a player directly or attack an opponent's rested unit. That's important. If your unit is fighting your opponent's unit, damage is done simultaneously. So say for example you have Sandrock Gundam and it's attacking your opponent's Gelgook. Both will deal 4 damage to each other at the same time, destroying both units. Now, if you attack your opponent head-on, there are 2 possibilities going on. One is if they have a base, meaning you will have to deal damage to the base first. So, say you are attacking your opponent with a gym you control, and they have a white base on the field. Your gym will deal 2 damage to the base. In order to deal damage to your opponent's shield or life, you need to get rid of their base first. 2. You deal damage to their life or their shield. Each life or shield is considered as having 1 HP. So if you attack with a big unit like Unicorn Gundam that has 4 AP, you will only deal 1 damage to their life. Another thing to note is that damages remain permanent on a unit or a base, but you can heal units with the repair keyword, or you have a unit that has a healing effect. To put it in simple terms, Breach is a piercing damage effect, which means if your unit with Breach destroys an opponent's unit, they also deal damage to their base or shield. If your opponent has no more shield or base, Breach won't do anything since there is no target. Besides, might as well just go for a game at that point. I mean, why waste your attack on a unit? Let's see, a scenario here. You control a Rick Dome with Breach 2. The 2 here means the amount of piercing damage it will deal. Your opponent has a Demi Trainer blocker and an EX base. You attack with Dome and they block with Demi Trainer. Demi Trainer is destroyed and Dome does 2 piercing damage to EX base, making EX base down to 1 HP. But what if there is no base? Well, it just deals damage to the topmost shield, so straight damage, piercing damage. Explanatory, pretty easy. Technically, there's not really a hand size per se, but there kinda is. So you can have as many cards in your hand during your turn. But at the end of your turn, at the end phase, if you have more than 10 cards in your hand, you have to discard cards till you have only 10 left. So I guess that's kind of the max hand size, you could say. Now we are getting into the more boring, but I think important sequences and rules. You will notice some cards have the action keyword here. These are effects that can only be used during the action step. Some of these effects can mess your opponent's strategy real bad. So according to what I know, and from the comprehensive rules, there are 2 action steps in a turn. One is during the attack phase, and another during the end phase. So let's get into a little bit in depth, okay? Beginning with the battle phase. So, an attack step or battle phase, attack phase, whatever, consists of 5 steps. There's the attack step, the block step, action step, damage step, and end of battle step. The first 2 are self-explanatory. Attack step is when you declare an attack with your unit and where you're attacking. The block step is where your opponent can block using a blocker if they have one. Now, action step happens after the block step. The standby player or the defending player gets to do actions first. And you stay on the action step until both players declare that they are passing on the action step. So, for example, if the defending player says, oh, no action step, no action or whatever we're gonna say, and then you, the attacking player, have one action, you played it, the defending player, after it's resolved, will get to do another action step. If the defending player passes again, it goes back to you, the attacking player, and you can pass the action to go to the damage step. So in order for you to go to damage, both players must announce that they are not doing any action at all. So it has to be in a row. So player 2 or defending player says pass, player 1 says pass. Or player 2 defending says pass, player 1 does an action, player 2 pass, player 1 does another action, player 2 pass, player 1 pass. It has to be 2 passes in a row. That was a bit too long, but that's what it is. Now, the other action step, the second one, like I mentioned, is during the end phase. So, the end phase consists of 4 steps apparently. You have action step, end step, hand step, and cleanup step. We will not get into the details of each step, just the action step, because that's what we're talking about here. Which actually does not really need an explanation. It's pretty much the same as the battle phase. So it's just the same process, like defending player starts first, then attacking player, and then defending player both have to declare no action for it to continue. Which, it's a lot the same, but I think it's important to know a bit for these in-depth phases, so that way everyone knows what actually happens at the end phase, instead of just, oh, I'm passing my turn. Because that's typically any other card game, but this passing your turn for Gundam apparently is more intricate, more detailed. Because you say, oh, you're gonna say, I'm entering my end phase, and then you're gonna ask your opponent any action. Then if no action, you have no action, boom, end turn, pass the turn. I think that's how they want us to play. Anyways, that's what I think. I don't know per se how, but that is my best guess. And so folks, that is all I got for this video. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, these are based off cards and keywords that we have revealed in the website. If I missed anything else important, or if I misunderstood some things that make some stuff in this video incorrect, I do apologize. If you have questions, pop them in the comments. Definitely I want to answer them. And if you all want another in-depth video when we get more cards revealed, more keywords come out, do let me know as well. Now, as I always say, drink lots of water, take care of yourselves. I'm Sanada Yuki, heading out. And also, beware of the ball.